Good evening. Welcome to the First 11 channel, our first show of 2022. Our first show in about 5 weeks, I want to say, something like that. Something daft or something long like that. But welcome back, everybody. Alan, how are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. Had a good Christmas, spent it with the boy and family and friends. And as you didn't, I'll apologise to the people watching for Ryan's lateness on this show. You know, so right. We've only had a couple of weeks to plan this, so yeah. Well, I apologise for Ryan, but as long as everyone else had a good Christmas, that's all that matters.
Well, to be honest, Alan, I've had lots of messages while we've been having this break saying Alan wasn't on the last show and it was 10 times better without him. We just seen him at his Christmas do, randomly popping it in and out of the screen.
I had to.
Oh, God. And Kirst, it's brilliant to have you back on. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Not bad. Not bad.
Good.
We've got the WhatsApp mark today. That's who we want. That's who we clamour for. Not the YouTube mark, not the nice mark. We want the WhatsApp savage mark today. Are you doing all right, mate?
Yeah, not bad. Thank you.
Yes. Not bad. And Jacob, long time no speak from Monday. Your first appearance on the Coys.com podcast. How you been?
Yeah, I'm all right. And to the rest of you, Happy New Year and hope you had a good Christmas and that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Should we talk a bit of Tottenham, everybody? Shall we speak about the old Lily Whites? See how they've got you going at the minute this new year?
We'll see how it goes.
Well, I might as well start with you, Alan, seeing as you're closest to me. The first game we'll talk about is the 2-2 draw with Liverpool. I mean, were you disappointed that we didn't actually win that game, Alan? Did you leave that game quite upset that we didn't win it?
We should have won it. We should have got all 3 points. We took the game to them. We, caused all sorts of problems for them. Created really good. I think the best chances fell to us. I think Conte got that game spot on. We just weren't clinical enough. And for me, we should have, like I said, we should have been up by 2 at half time. It was just one of them games where on another day, we're more clinical and we have an extra 2 points and we're level with Arsenal going into the London derby. But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. I know, obviously, at the time, I said I wasn't sure about the red card with Kane. Looking back on it now, probably I'd say, yeah, a little bit more of a red than not. But it's not as bad as people making out like it was ankle high or kneecap high. It was out of control. But, people's have their own, views on it. But the Robertson one was more like GBH, so he definitely should have gone. So I think, the referee got decisions right on the pitch. Actually, no, if I remember rightly, didn't VAR overturn the Robertson one. But he should have gone anyway. But yeah, definitely should have got the 3 points in my opinion. That's 2 points drops, and that could be crucial at the end of the season. But yeah, Conte got that game spot on, and we caused Liverpool sorts of problem. That's the way to play against Liverpool. They play such a high line, balls in over the top with pace behind. There's always caused the problems, especially when they have injuries and people out. So yeah, if they still have people out when we go to them, and then not like when we go away to them, we should try and play the same way because I think we can come away with 3 points there. Confidence.
Yes, lots of confidence. We love it here on the Branded Tottenham show. But just to give you all a heads up, we've got that many games to catch up on and that many transfers. I'm literally going to give you all one question from each game. So as soon as we've done with Jacob's question, we're going to go on to the game after and the game after. But first, the question I've got for you on this one is about the red cards that Alan's just spoken about. How did you think it went? Do you think there was both reds, or do you think it was a bit harsh on both, or just one? Which one are you going for?
I'm not too sure, really, to be honest. It's still the Liverpool game, yeah? I didn't think it would have been a red card for Kane. Looking at it, I didn't think that he deserved one. But to be honest, I just think it was just typical that it was just a typical tackle, really, from a striker. Like, I just didn't think that it was a red. And I know that we've had all the Liverpool army complaining, saying how Kane's the golden boy and how he got away with it just because of, obviously, he stands for the England club and what have you. But, yeah, I didn't think that it was a red.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same as you with the Kane one. But, Mark, if you can remember that game as much as you can with all the games we've played. I'll take you back to a Ryan Sessegnon performance. Unfortunately, we hadn't seen him since that game, but how impressed were you with Sessegnon up against Salah?
Yeah, I thought he played really well. He came in, he's been injured for such a long time. But I thought overall we played really well in that game. That I think, before, was it the Chelsea-Liverpool game? I think people were saying that was the best game so far this season in the Premier League. It was kind of end-to-end. We, like Alan said, we clearly had the best chances. If we had Son and Kane from last season or the season before, we would have been 3-0 up, I think, 3-4-0 up by the break. So it's like anything. If you don't take your chances and you don't score, that's what happens. So Sessegnon, yeah, I'd like to say, it's a pity he got injured, because it would have been quite nice to see how he would have, we got Doherty on the left-hand side now. I'm just, oh yeah, I don't, you're going to get the WhatsApp mark coming out soon. It's driving me insane, I want to see this kid go for a run of games, of 6-7 games, to see his true potential. He's going to be something of kind of a top 6 club, because against Liverpool, I thought he was brilliant. I thought, he tracked back when he needed to. He came up when he needed to. But not only just him, I thought Winks had a phenomenal game against Liverpool. There were so many outstanding performances there. So should we have, look, before the game started, I would have snapped somebody's hand off to take a 2-2 draw, to be fair. But as we saw the game go, you start thinking, wow, so it's one of those games that you look back on, like Alan says, 2 points lost at the end of the season. But I think I would have taken a point at the beginning of the game against Liverpool, because they are really strong.
Yeah, just to answer, and they put in the comments, no, we've got too much to talk about to drop the StreamYard link tonight. So we've got too many guests on already. And Son, I don't know if it's a definite number. I think that 2 to 5 weeks, something like that, with his hamstring.
I think to the end of the month, apparently.
Yeah, something like that. But Jacob, a man that was bad to talk about. We always talk about him. But Harry Kane got his goal against Liverpool to take him to a whopping 2 league goals for the season. How much more could he have had that game, Jacob? I mean, he had so many good chances that you'd expect him to score with his eyes shut.
Yeah, like if I remember correctly, he could have scored 4. There was a couple, and I was just like, "What are you doing?" Like, I think what it was, when you're playing in such a big game against Liverpool, I don't think he could quite believe how easy some of the chances were. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but I just think some of the chances you put down to match sharpness, but some of them I was just like, if you put me in that position, I'm nowhere near their level, but I'm quite confident I'd score. So I don't understand. I don't know what was going on. It was just, we played well. I just think when it comes to finishing, on the original game, I blamed it to match sharpness. But when you look over the game since then, it's like Kane and Son have still been missing those gilt-edged chances week in, week out. So it's nothing to do with match sharpness. I just think between the two of them, or especially Harry Kane, I just think he's off form. But even an off-form Harry Kane, you expect him to finish some of them chances. As one of you guys alluded to earlier, if you had Kane and Son of last season, we probably would have scored about 8 goals against Liverpool, which is crazy to think of. But the amount of times we're getting in over the top, and Son had a chance. Dele Alli, 3 seasons ago, puts his chance away. I think it felt like a lot of the players had a lot of chances. So it's just one of those where Harry Kane, although he looks slightly better under Conte, there's a lot of games, not just in the Liverpool, and a lot of other games that we're going to chat about later, where he should have easily been on 8 goals for the season in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a comment here from Gio. I want a bit of feedback. Again, shall we? There was a question from Gio, but it's transfer related, so I'm going to leave that till later. I haven't forgot about your question, Gio. But Alan, we go to the Crystal Palace win, 3-0. If I'm right, I think that's. Oh God, it's happening again. This feedback, is it? Let me try muting that one. Yep. Yeah, that's all right now. It's old Jacob again, bless him. I believe, Alan, that's the first time, maybe I think the only time this season, Kane, Son, and Lucas have scored in the same game. So, how did you feel after the Palace win? Was you expecting a win that simple, you could say?
Yeah, so people are bigging up Palace massively. I don't think they're as great as people are saying, but I think it was a good performance overall from what I remember of it. Nice, comfortable win. Oh, it's something I expected. I can't remember. I think I went for a 2-0 Palace actually, and 3-0 at the end. That was my prediction. But it was a good performance. It's the only, like you said, I think it is definitely the only time that all three have scored, which is, for this season, remarkable. We're where we are in the league with a misfiring Harry Kane, really, and then out of form Son and Lucas Moura, who doesn't really score many anyway. That's how our season's going. So for all of them to get goals in the same game, is a massive plus. We need more of it this season. But that, for me, I can't remember much of the game, but all I remember is just watching it thinking it was an easy game. So, yeah, it's good to finally play a team that are below us that we see off quite comfortably rather than having to sweat it out like we did under other managers. So, yeah, it was a comfortable game to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Kirst, was it nice to see that after the 3-0 battering that they gave us at their ground? Are you the same as Alan? Were you expecting that type of performance from Tottenham, or do you think it was a lot?
I can't actually remember what my predicted score was, but I did expect us to win it. To be honest, I know that we had more possession throughout the game anyway, so obviously as the game was going on, you could expect it to win. Because I think Kane and Lucas, they scored within like minutes of each other, didn't they? Just before half time. I don't think it was too far before, like in the first half, if I remember rightly. I did think, however, that the game was going to kind of be in our favour anyways, because Zaha got that red card, didn't he, for shoving Emerson in the face. So I could see that our players, like, there was riled up for it. Like, they wanted to, just play to their best anyways because of how their team was acting. So we always give them a good game anyway. So, yeah, I did kind of expect us to win it, but I would never have expected a 3-0. No.
No, not with our Tottenham have been this season. You don't expect that type of number in a
Yeah,
game.
definitely.
Mark, Kirst has just spoken about it, the Zaha red card. I mean, can you get any more petulant and childish? He's just been booked. The ball's gone out for a throw-in. So he decides to turn around and give Emerson a bit of a shove to the ground. As easy as Emerson might have fallen down to the ground, I mean, you don't do that on a yellow card, do you, as a professional footballer?
Well, he does, doesn't he? He's so easy to wind up. It's like what he did to Tagnanga on the reverse fixture, didn't he? So yeah, it was just, the first one was kind of debatable, the yellow card anyway. But when you're on a yellow card, that's the last thing you do. You don't start throwing people down. And he gave the referee no choice. And I think as soon as they go down to 10 men, I think we controlled that game, didn't we? I think we looked so comfortable. The only shame of that game is that we just didn't go on and be more clinical and make a statement and finish at 5-6-0. We've had a lot of games now, I think, where we've played against 10 men. It's not been clinical enough. So, look, 3-0's 3-0. You don't kick a gift horse in the face. But when you can go on, you should go on and make a statement, But that just shows you how, as good as Kane and Sonny and them all are, they're not having their best seasons at the moment. They're not firing on all cylinders. And if they were that kind of game, we could have easily have gone 5-6-0, or to the point when we were 3-0 up, take the whole front line off and give them a rest. But yet we don't have a second striker, so we can't do that, can we?
No, that is a big problem. But Jacob, do you look at it as a good performance from Tottenham, or do you look at it as a performance against 10 men that's made a lot easier?
It's a bit of both, really, because we did play well leading up to the Zaha sending off. I think that we played, pretty much a 7 out of 10. I was happy with the 3-0. I remember watching the game, shouting at the TV, because as much as I like Zaha as a player, he is an idiot. So he's like a petulant child, and you can see as much as a quality player. That's probably the reason why Man United got rid of him and why nobody takes him away from Palace, because he's just a tool sometimes. But going back to the performance, I was happy with it. I wasn't going over the moon. I was just happy to win. We need to just keep winning and making sure that we maintain, that if we play well, we win, and if we're not playing well, at least try and win like we did at Watford. But again, there's times where we haven't played well, like we did against Southampton, and didn't pick up all the points. But at least you get a point and push forward, especially when all the other teams are dropping points. So that Palace victory was one of the wins that was important for us, especially with United, West Ham, and Arsenal having their little blips in and around that time.
Yeah. Before we go on that's it. Yeah, Jacob's muted again. Before we go on to the Southampton game, Alan, I'll ask you this one. Nipun sent a couple of questions in, but which goal did your team concede that made you sit back and say, fair play, what a goal? Have you got any that jogged the memory?
In regards to what? Is it just a general overall goal?
Yeah, just a general overall goal, yeah.
Can't remember now, to be fair.
No, we do concede goals.
Yeah, we can see so many. I mean, yeah, I don't know one off the top of my head. We can see so many, so you could say all of them, to be fair. I don't know. Sorry, I can't give a better answer than that.
No, I'll ask Mark this one then for the next one. This we'll pan into the Chelsea game as well. So, Mark, Nipun wants to know as well, do you see Jaffa Tagnanga as a future England international? Oh, you're on mute, Mark, I believe.
Sorry. I think when he came on last year, didn't he? I think he had kind of 2 or 3 man of the match performances when he first started. But watching him on Wednesday, kind of, I don't know. He looked lost, didn't he? Look, he wasn't the only one, but he kind of looked lost. So do I see him? I'd like to see him as an England international. I'd like to say he's young. Conte is going to turn him to something, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. On performance on Wednesday, and if he continues like that, I don't think he will make the Spurs side. I think he'll go out on loan or something. The biggest surprise was why he was playing ahead of Rodon when Conte turned round less than a month ago saying that he sees Rodon as a replacement to Dyer, and Dyer wasn't there, and then he didn't choose Rodon. That was my biggest surprise. But yeah, I'd like to say, I looked at Jaffa Tagnanga and I thought he'd be our next Ledley King kind of thing, especially after last season, how he came on and everything. And then he hasn't been playing. He hasn't had a lot of games. He's had injuries and that. And then, Wednesday, he was poor, wasn't he?
Can I ask a question before we move on quickly? Mark, who actually does send those texts in the group chat, but like when we're watching the game? Because on here, you're so calm and mellow, everything's positive. And in that group chat, you're scathing, you're like seething, putting everyone down. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. Is it you or is it somebody else messaging in the group chat? Because it's just completely different from on here to there.
What are you talking about?
I wish I could show the messages.
I'm busy reading my messages back here. Just going back on that Crystal Palace game, if we can. I don't know if you remember, we were playing on the Sunday, weren't we? And then the Saturday night at about 8 o'clock, it came out where, they were trying to get the game cancelled, weren't we? And some guy from, was it London newspaper or something? He's the Crystal Palace, what's the name? He went straight away and said, "Oh, game's cancelled." And then it went and came in the morning and everything, and they denied it. And then the team came out, and if you looked at the team, it was so strong. There was hardly anybody of the first team out with COVID, wasn't there? And everybody was like, what's going on here? In fact, one person came in, which even strengthened, was it Milojevic or something? He came in, which was their captain, and it even strengthened their team, didn't it?
Yeah. Just Vieira, wasn't it, that they didn't have in the dugout?
It was just, It was just so, I just remember that because I was going through our text messages. Just going back on that, no, it's my alter ego, Alan.
Which one is it, Jekyll or Hyde?
Yeah, no. It's the other side of Mark when I'm doing those.
Okay.
When I'm watching TV
Yeah.
as Jekyll.
Okay. And this is Hyde we see here. Okay, fair enough. Just had to ask because it's totally different. Two different people.
Yeah. Wait, the game's coming. Let's talk about Wednesday. We haven't started on Wednesday yet.
No, I'm leaving that. I'm just trying to boil your blood a bit more, Mark.
Yeah, boil my blood.
Get to that one.
Yeah. Wait till we get to the Watford and Southampton game.
I do appreciate the questions, Nippon, and I know there was for the panel, but like I said, there's just so much. It's the first show since start of December, so there's so much to get through. But I'll stay with you, Mark, before I move on to Alan. I mean, the Southampton game, 1-1. How frustrating was not just the Kane offside goal, but the Matt Doherty goal where Fraser Forster dropped it onto the back of his foot. I mean, how frustrating can it get to have those two goals disallowed?
Yeah, I agree. The Kane one for me is it's diabolical. When they talked last year about changing the rules and the lines making it thicker and everything, and then the following day you go and watch somebody else scored a goal and it was virtually the same. It was Foden, wasn't it, for Man City? He went and scored a goal and it was exactly the same and his goal stood. So yeah, it's very frustrating. However, in that, we should have still clearly won that game. But what frustrates me more, and this is where now the Jekyll mark comes out, is our passing at times is woeful. I sit there and I watch the training that Spurs put out, and I see them. I see two players running to try and get the ball, and they're passing one touch, and then it goes over, and then two other people try. Is that all they do? Because seriously, we need to start passing the ball better, and we need to start passing it to a player. But yeah, I thought besides those two goals, I agree. Yeah, it's frustrating. I think keepers are so protected nowadays. You just have to bump into them and they get a foul. Anywhere else on the pitch and it's not a foul, the referee would be laughing at him saying, get up. But goalkeepers are protected. So I'm not surprised it wasn't given. I'd be more surprised if it wasn't given, but I'm not surprised it was given. But yeah, I'm annoyed more with the Kane one because that was a great goal, that was, to be fair. And he took it really well. And that's all it needs for Kane to go on like kind of an amazing goal spree, something like that, just to kick him off and then to get it. But we should have still gone on to win that game, to be fair. Some of our passing was just abysmal, and you can see that in my messages. I just, I sit there and I think, what are they doing?
Yeah, I know. We know exactly how you feel, Mark. Trust me, these messages burn me when they come through the screen. Alan,
yeah, nobody answers though. It's just
we don't dare, Mark. We just leave you to it. Let him get off. Let him have his rant. Let him carry on, and we'll talk after. But Alan, I mean. We'll talk about your best mate Kane, shall we? Me and you, because he's after that Southampton goal that he did score. It was 3-3 Premier League goals. Liverpool, Palace, and Southampton. He's got 2 games, a league game against Watford and the Carabao Cup semi-final without a goal. Do you think? Do you think he's coming back to his form a bit slowly, or do you think that was just a bit of a one-season wonder run that he was on?
No, I think he has the ability to score when he wants. Obviously, for me, this season he's not going to be good enough until he tries to put down numbers that he has previously. So he's got a lot of work to do, just because of, obviously, for me, the sheer lack of effort that he put in at the beginning. So for me, I won't forgive him fully until the end of the season, if I can forgive him at all, depending on what he does for the rest of the season. The game, we were quite poor, to be fair. Even when we went down to 10 men, we couldn't break them down. Like Mark said, we don't create enough, because let's be honest, the middle of the park where you need creative and people to break up play and drive forward and all that, we don't have the personnel. That's, for me, is why we don't have, why we're not looking to make that our first port of call, like during the transfer window, rather than another bloody winger, is beyond me. On another day, both those decisions could have gone for us, but I'm not going to sit on here, unlike other fan bases, i.e. Arsenal, who just claim that the world's against them. There's conspiracy theory from referees. They're the only team that doesn't get decisions go against them and all that, making themselves the victim time and time again. It's boring. So I don't make excuses. On another day, they could have gone our way. They didn't. We just got to take it as it is, and it's a 1-1 draw. But yeah, I'm not going to play the Arsenal weak mentality card and be like, "Oh, we're victim. We get decisions go against us and cry." Yeah, they can cry. I'm a bit of a bigger fan than that.
Yes, and we're very proud of you for that, Alan. We love that.
Thank you.
But Kirst, I've got one more question. I know you've got to shoot, but you're the only person on this panel that I want to ask this question to, and it is, what is wrong with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg at the moment?
Oh, one thing I will start off saying is thank God Mark is muted, because our WhatsApp chat, when it comes to Højbjerg and Mark, I want to block him. No, I'm joking. I think that he's just overplayed. He's not had any rest. And obviously he did have COVID, didn't he? And I know people say that that's an excuse, but it's a valid reason for why he's probably not performing his best. There's that. And he's also, like, him and Skippy is not enough with our midfield. They're too similar. We're missing someone like Eriksen. And that's exactly why we could have really done with someone like Coutinho, but obviously he's now gone to Villa. I won't get into the transfers because I know that you're saving that for later. But yeah, I think that he's just been really overplayed, and as well the fact that he's been getting so much backlash on social media will be affecting his performances, because I'm sure that that's probably in the back of his mind. Like, I had someone send me a tweet actually that someone had put up, and it was like a guy with a knife, and then in front of him was someone on their knees, like as if they was about to get the head cut off, and it was Pierre's head. And people are making things like that and then writing posts saying that they're going to find out where his daughter lives and things. I've reported it all, but it's just disgusting. And I think stuff like this, if he was to ever come across it, that's going to affect his performance as well on the pitch, because he's going to want to obviously play to stop people saying stuff like this, but then it's just extra added pressure, and our midfield's weak anyways. So I think that it's a number of reasons, Ryan.
Yeah, I do agree with you. He is massively. I think, what was it? Was it 46 straight league games without?
Yeah. He played as well, like all through the Euros. Like, he took Denmark to, I think they got to the semis. Like, and he played every game, pretty much the full 90 minutes as well. Like, the man just hasn't stopped for ages. I think the only break he's actually had is when we stopped for COVID.
But then, can I just ask, if that's the case? We've all been saying, why take Skippy off and leave him on then? Why not? That surely Conte can see that. I'm not saying don't start both of them.
Oh no, I completely agree with you. Like with the Chelsea game, when they took Skippy off, I've even said I would have rather take Højbjerg off and keep Skippy on.
So, and Southampton, why start with Højbjerg and not start with Skip? We miss Skippy in Southampton, so I tend to agree with you. I
completely see where you're coming from, and I agree with you. Like,
fair, he's been really, and he's not the only one. Listen, we know we haven't been playing poor because of Højbjerg. There's quite a few people that can actually stand up, and like Emerson Royal, can he actually cross a ball? I don't know. I've not seen it yet. I think Reggie's been kicked out because he pushed Conte the other day, because how Doherty plays left wing, and Reggie, I take it that did you see that push at Watford when what's name scored? He pushed him, so I think he's banished him to the what's his name. So listen, and those are the kind of things that start to worry me about Conte. Why? If he can see the guy's tired, the guy's played 46 games, why is he not saying to young Skip, who's 22, 23, and can run like Tom Hanks in the Roadrunner, what's he called? Forrest Gump or something. He can just run and run and run, so I don't get it. And you're right, he's tired, he needs a break, the same as Kane. They're tired, they need a break.
Honestly, I agree with you.
Sonny being out for the next 2-3 weeks, I think could be a blessing in disguise for Sonny.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't mean to jump in there.
No, it's fine. Like, you've not said anything that's wrong. Well, I don't think you have anyway. Like, I agree with what you said. I get that the guy is one of my like top players, but I'm not going to sit there and disagree with what anyone's saying. Like, I know when someone's obviously playing poorly, and like Nippon said, obviously the past few games he's just not been up to standard at all, and he's not played to the best of his ability. And I just hope that eventually in time he will get the rest that he needs, and he will come back, because there's obviously something that Conte sees in him that is making him start over the likes of Skippy and what have you. But I think it would just be good to, I never thought I would ever hear these words come out of my gob, but I think it would be good to see him just on the bench or just not playing at all, and having someone like Winks come in and just take his place just for one game, and then seeing how he goes. Because I know we've got 3 games, is it next week we've got them, or the week after?
Yeah.
And it's making me even just worry for the guy.
Sunday. He might not play Sunday. He might be rested Sunday, I think.
Yeah, because I know that we've got on the 16th, we've got obviously Arsenal at home, and then they've moved our Leicester game to the 19th, and then on the Sunday it's Chelsea. So we've got 3 games that we can't afford any weaknesses in. Well, especially the Arsenal and the Chelsea one. Yeah.
9 points there.
Well, hopefully, I never see Chelsea as an easy game.
No, it's definitely not. But Kirst, I know you've got to shoot, so thank you very much.
Oh no, it's all right. Thank you for having me on again.
No problem. I'd much rather you still be here than Alan, but saying so,
Oh bless you.
Wow.
But yeah, I'll try and listen to as much of the rest of it as I can before I fall asleep. Anyways, guys.
No problem. Thank you.
You'll be asleep in 5 minutes if we all talk.
Speak for yourself, Jacqueline Hyde.
Jacqueline Hyde.
No, I'm the entertaining one, Alan. I was trying to be nice there. I didn't want to just mention you alone there.
Wow.
I don't want to gang up on you, pal.
I'm going to move to Jacob before he falls asleep. Bless him. He hasn't asked anything for quite a while now, poor Jacob, down in that corner. So,
bless him. Right. I'll see you soon, guys.
See you later, Kirst. Jacob. The Southampton game, do you think there should have been changes made a lot earlier? Obviously, do you think centre-back should have come out? Holding midfielders should have come out? What changes should have been made for us pushing that whole second half at 1-1 against 10 men?
Yeah, definitely straight away. As soon as you go second half, you go to a back four and bring Lucas on. If you want to leave Dele Alli on, leave him on. I thought Lucas was brought on too late. There was no point effectively of us playing wing backs, because we had 2 wingers that for me were just pointless. You know what I mean? They weren't giving us the width, and if they did put them out wide, what's the point of passing it out the right to Emerson to cross? You know what I mean? You might as well just kick it out for a throw in and give it to the opposition, because it's pointless. Matt Doherty cutting inside just gives you a headache. Yeah, we needed to make the changes, but regardless, you still had enough players on the pitch to go and win the game, even if you kept the formation. I thought we do proper miss a number 10, because a number 10 in those situations unlocks a defence, you know, aka an Ericsson. We haven't got that player. You know, the closest thing we've got to someone doing that is Lo Celso, and we all know that he's either injured or never does it. He had Højbjerg and Skip both on at the same time. You know, the closest thing we've got to someone that might actually pick a pass was Winks, which says it all about the cut and thrust in our midfield. So for me, you obviously had to make the changes and go a bit more attacking, but we just missed that guile. There's just no one there that's going to, you know, I can't look at anybody in our team and say, you know, he's going to get 10 assists. You know, at the beginning of the season, the only person you thought that might get 10 assists would potentially be Harry Kane, because he did it the season before. But he shouldn't be assisting and scoring all the goals. He should be in the box, being provided for. And I think that's what Conte wants. But then nobody in the midfield is taking that ownership. And even if they want to take the ownership, they just aren't capable.
Yep, couldn't agree more. So before we move on to the Watford game, we've just got a couple of comments here. Alan, it's embarrassing how fans are having a meltdown when it's only been a few days in the transfer window. Do you see a meltdown at the minute, or do you see where people are coming from with Newcastle and Villa already out there spending?
I don't think it's a meltdown. No, it's early in the transfer window, but we've been promised. I mean, this is what came out from the club and all that, like transfer ready for January. Now all of a sudden it's decided that now I'm hearing snippets that it's not January. Big moves made in the summer. Typical Spurs talk. And then the first person we're linked with, I'm sorry, Adama is not the person we need. I don't think he's all that. No end product. Yep, he's fast. He's just a bigger version for me of Aaron Lennon. But at least Aaron Lennon had an end ball more often than not. And could, I just don't see it in Adama. He's not what we need. We've got wingers that don't do well, and we're trying to upgrade a Skoda with a slightly better running Skoda. It doesn't make sense. You need middle of the park sorted. You need to spend big money. Obviously, like we said, we're meant to be going after big players to build a team, and you need a new striker in after Kane, Vlahovic. You need midfielders that are going to Boston midfield. We're not getting that. And all it is like maybe like Adama for 20 million, and there's no other talk of anyone else. And we're allowing rivals who apparently are going for the same players we are to steal a march on us, like Vlahovic with Arsenal. So if things go the way normally it does for Spurs, we're in trouble again. And a promise that was made again has not been fulfilled. So this is typical for Spurs fans to get irate and stuff like that because it's typical Spurs, and what we do in transfer windows, pretty much nothing.
Yeah, Jacob, I know it says for all the panel, like I say, we're rushing through them all. Obviously, disregarding the performance, because we'll get onto that against Chelsea, do you think we can turn the tie around against Chelsea?
I'd like to say yes, but I just don't see us keeping a clean sheet against Chelsea at home. Especially if we've got the same lineup, there's no Son, so I know Son's been off form last few weeks, but with him missing, I just don't see who scores the goals, because Harry Kane, you can't really rely on him to get the goals. Lucas Moura will get you 1 in 4. Apart from them two, who's scoring the goals for us? I don't see us scoring from corners, because we're not that type of team. And like I said, if Chelsea score a goal at any given time in the game, I don't see our team without Son scoring 3 or 4 goals and knocking Chelsea out. So I'd like to think it's going to be one of those games where Chelsea don't turn up, but there hasn't been too many of those. Even with Chelsea dropping points in the league, they have turned up in those games. They've just been very unlucky. So personally, we needed to score a goal at the Bridge to give me a bit of hope. Anything you can do is pray, mate, because I just don't see it.
Yeah, and Mark, this last one's for you, mate. Halfway through the season, what positives can Spurs take from this season so far? I can only think of one myself, but is there any on your mind that come up?
Yeah, we haven't lost in the Premiership under Conte yet, have we? So that's a positive. Positives Conte at the moment and the Conte effect. So I think the other positive is we're playing shit at the moment. So you can't play shitter than shit. So you can only get better. So that's the for me. Our passing is woeful. So the opposite to that is it's going to get better. That's my positive. That's what I've got to look forward to. So when the Conte effect really takes hold, I think, when the players actually still buy into it, because, what gets me is on Wednesday night when those players went out there, who's our biggest rivalry? I know West Ham, I know Arsenal, but we always go to the Bridge, and we should be up for that, shouldn't we? We want to gouge people's eyes out. We want to not break their legs. That's the wrong thing, but we want to go in. We didn't see any of that on Wednesday, did we? We didn't go in for the, even Højbjerg didn't look like he was going in for it, and he's the one that really, so the positives for me is that we've got Conte. For how long? I don't know, but that's the positives. And we haven't lost in the Premier League yet. So we've got 3 of our hardest games coming up in the next 10 days. So, we could talk in 2 weeks' time. That will be different. But, I've got to trust in him, as you keep on saying on the You know, when he played Doherty on the left, you told me to trust in Conte, you know, on the WhatsApp group, which I didn't understand. And, you know, I'll be very honest, no journalist has actually asked him the question why you played him on the left when you had a Sergio Reguilon, who that's his position. He plays for Spain. You know, what happened? Yeah, those are the positives. Other than that, and Harry Kane, he's not scoring loads at the moment. And the positive is he can only get better. So that's what I look for.
If I can get Conte on at any time, Mark, I will make sure to ask him why the did you put Doherty at left?
Yeah. No, I've messaged him. I've messaged Antonio. I'm just waiting. He hasn't read my message yet. The two blue ticks haven't gone yet.
Well, that's fine. This isn't a question for anyone, but Nippon wishes us absolutely no luck going into the game at Stamford Bridge. But I hope you absolutely batter them Gooners in the North London derby. Hates them mugs. Nippon, that's why you are always welcome here on a Friday night at 10 o'clock. Kirst has obviously thanked everyone, sent me a prediction for Sunday. And of course, please subscribe to the channel and like the stream. We appreciate it as much as you can. But Alan, Premier League game, Watford, a 1-0 win. Does that just highlight even more how high on the list a creative midfielder is for this side, the amount of dominance we had in that game?
Yeah, massively. I mean, say it all the time. That's the area we need to be focusing on because it, you know, got severe lack in there. Can't keep saying it like over and over again, but I think most Spurs fans will agree with that. We controlled the game for large periods. Shout out to Hugo Lloris because he made a fantastic save to keep us in the game when they were coming on the counter-attack. They made changes. But yeah, when we come up against teams with low blocks who just like to sit and defend, we've not got the personnel like we used to have that can just open up a team, and it takes an awful lot. And for large parts of that game, I was thinking to myself, this is another game where we throw it away and we draw or we drop points. But, you know, for once, we rose to the occasion and got a lucky goal at the end. Like, it was a free kick and a good header, a good ball in. But we haven't even got somebody, I mean, Son's okay at them, but we haven't really got anybody that can cause loads of problems with free kicks. I mean, when I see a free kick taken out for shot on goal, it always goes to Harry Kane. He scored one deflected goal against Aston Villa for a free kick that I can remember. Why on earth he's the person taking free kicks is beyond me. But we don't have anyone there because we don't have much creativity. Underbelly, our most creative player, doesn't give the effort or energy or anything like that. So for me, we need 2 or 3 top quality players in the midfield to actually make us a viable threat against low block teams, because you can see we just can't break teams down, and it's a worrying sign that isn't being looked at before anything else.
Yeah, and Mark, talk to me about Davinson Sanchez. Since Ramiro's been out, I can't believe I'm saying it, but a back three of Davinson Sanchez, Eric Dyer, and Ben Davies has actually looked half decent. And I can see Alan's face. I can see his face. They've actually, you wouldn't expect us to have kept 2 clean
better.
You wouldn't expect us to keep 2 clean sheets with those 3 at the back. But Sanchez has actually played very well. Andy got his goal against Watford. How have you been with Sanchez since Ramiro got injured?
Listen, I think he's been okay. You know, besides the Wednesday game, I think he was okay. I'd still rather have Ramiro. You know, I saw people saying just before the Wednesday game, they were saying when Ramiro's fit, he shouldn't just walk straight back into the side. And I think I put it on the WhatsApp group. He walks into the side. You know, I don't care what you say. Ramiro walks in, Sanchez goes sit on the bench. You know, when he's next to Dyer, I think, you know, I'm the first one to say I think Dyer's been one of our standout players this season. And I think on Wednesday, I think he missed playing next to Dyer. Sanchez did, because I think the two of them, they kind of work well together. And maybe even Thingy works well with him, Ben Davies. But yeah, he got the goal. He was in the right place at the right time, right at the end. I'm just going through some of my WhatsApp messages because you weren't watching the game, were you? Because you were messaging and saying, you know, are there any subs? And I'm just looking what I was saying. My God, you know, by all accounts, this was the worst game they've ever played because, Jesus, take Sonny off, take Kane off, take Skip. What a plank. See some of the messages I'm just reading here. This is going to be 4 points drop. Watford and Southampton. F off Tottenham. Yeah, yes, it's just, it was really, they're passing, I know we won the game, but nobody can walk away from the Watford game and go, that was a good game, because it wasn't. We were lucky, to be fair. That last minute goal and everything, we were lucky. But going back to Sanchez, how do I think? I think he stood up okay. But I would, if Romero was fit tomorrow, he replaces Sanchez straight in, and Sanchez goes and sits on the bench. So anybody that says no, he has to work for his place, for me, no.
I mean, Jake, talk about another defensive player in the side, but we spoke about it a bit on Monday. How important is it that we keep Lloris? Because, like Alan said, he pulled off a great save off Josh King. He got out to João Pedro to push the ball out. He's actually an unsung hero for us this season. You don't really get the plaudits that he deserves, does he, Lloris?
No, not. Can you hear me?
Yes, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. He does for me because, like I said on Monday, it seems like whenever we play, Lloris always makes a save when it's 0-0 or we're 1-0 up, and it makes sure that we get the result that we need. And it's always a world class save, like you said, like Alan said with Josh King. That was a great save. I'm quite confident he made a couple against Southampton, even though we, took James Ward-Prowse scored the goal. It felt like he made a couple of saves in that game as well, and we were getting taught a lesson. So we have to wrap him up for at least 2 years because, Tottenham don't do things quickly. If we need a goalkeeper, we'll end up getting two of the wrong goalkeepers before getting the right one. So we might as well keep Lloris there while we make those mistakes. We're being linked with people like Jordan Pickford and Dean Henderson. I'd rather have Hugo Lloris when he's 45 than have any of them two. And for me, he's still up there with the world-class goalies. He's easily top 5 goalie in the league. If you're going to replace a top 5 keeper in the Premier League, if it's not a keeper within the Premier League itself, you're probably going to have to go out to Europe and spend a lot of money, just like Liverpool did. They bought Alisson for 75 million. That's a keeper they're going to have for a good 10 years. The same with City and Edison. So, like you said, Lloris has got to be kept. And again, you never know, because Lloris might fancy something different right now. Because if we're fed up as Spurs fans, he's been there for the best part of a decade and hasn't won anything. So, if there's a better project for him to leave, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes.
Yeah, hopefully we can keep him. I know he's been linked with Ren from our old Conference League journey, but let's hope we keep him. I mean, Alan, I'll take you now to the last game we'll talk about before we talk transfers, which is the Chelsea game. And obviously the comment we've got here is, remember what Harry Kane said, this tie isn't yet decided. How do you see this tie at the minute? Going home game against Chelsea. Big game, the North London derby, 4 days after. How do you see this tie?
Well, nothing's ever decided in football. Nothing's over until it's over. We've come back from deficits before. This is different because it's against a really good Chelsea team. Doesn't matter about their problems. They've still got a really good team. For me, this is my only criticism of Conte. He got it completely wrong against Chelsea. I said numerous occasions, when you come up against good teams, with this Tottenham team, you need to flood the midfield because we have not got a calibre of players and we get bypassed too easily. We put an extra man, I believe, in the midfield against Liverpool, and that's why we done really well, because it was just Kane and Son up top, and I think we done really well against Chelsea. For some reason, didn't go that way, and there was Højbjerg was all out. So Skip was not the player, not the player he has been. So I think just Conte got it all wrong, and I'm hoping now we haven't got Son. Not slandering Son because he's done a lot for Spurs, but I think this may be a bonus for Spurs because there's not going to be too many people like a 3-4-3. I think it's going to go to a 3-5-2 or maybe even a 3 or 4-5-1, so that we flood the midfield and try and get the wing backs to push on, like to create the space. Which I think will be beneficial to us, because if we try and go 3-4-3 again, Chelsea is just going to walk through that midfield because Højbjerg needs a rest, but he's not been at level. Skip is a good youngster, but he's not at that level yet where he can run a game against Chelsea by himself. Not got a calibre player. We were better in the second half in that game, but still really didn't create much. But you think London Derby going away to one of your biggest rivals in a semi-final of a competition, you'd expect fight, passion, desire, and all that. And literally, we just allowed the Chelsea team who have been playing quite poor and not getting the results just to walk all over us. And it was very disappointing to watch. Hopefully, the second semi-final will not be that way. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I want to see, even if we do go out in the second thing, I just want a lot more passion. I want us to make Chelsea work for it rather than just, an easy game. But yeah, we got to the semi-final and unfortunately it was Spursy again.
Yep, as usual in a semi-final. But Mark, I want your unfiltered opinions now, because obviously the WhatsApp group was crazy with the Doherty left wing back, the team news. You just weren't happy with that team selection. So obviously, if there was a little issue with Reguilon, I don't know if he's carrying a knock or if he's just moaning about tiredness and fatigue. How would you have gone into that game? Would you have gone different formation, like Alan said? Would you have packed the midfield out a bit more?
Yeah, I'm like Alan. I think he got it completely wrong. You look at Liverpool. He played 2 up front. He didn't have Lucas Moura, or he didn't have the 3 up front, and he had 5 in the midfield. He had the 2 wing backs, and then he had, the 2 strong ones, the defensive, and he had, Harry Winks. I think he got it completely wrong. I still don't understand the Doherty thing. I really don't. But I sit with Alan again. This is a London derby. None of these guys showed any fight. I think Skippy was the only one that seemed to be running around like. But if it wasn't for Loris Hugo again, that could have been a 5-0, 6-0 drumming again. He's been another standout. He's got 6 months left on his contract, and we're pissing about. For me, and I said it in that one was on Conte, nothing more. And I don't know if he's trying to make a statement, if he's trying to put it out there to the owners to say, look, guys, we can't compete. Have you seen his press conferences? Does he not look 10 years older? The last few, he looks 10 years older. The guy's age. This is what happens when you come and work for Spurs. I'm 22. The guy looks haggard, bless him. And then you read that Levy's flown out today or yesterday to the Bahamas to have a chat with old Joe Lewis. Surely, when you bring this guy in 2 months ago, you've sat down and you said, this is what we're going to do. Yes, I agree. Summer's going to be the big one. That is going to be the big one. That's where you're probably going to see 4 or 5 real top ones and then 4 or 5, 6 players going out. I agree. But we need 2 or 3 now. And you would have thought this Paratici would have been working on this, And like Alan says, I'm not Adama Traore's biggest fan. But I'm not a football coach. But when you've got 2 of the best football coaches out on the planet saying there's something in this Adama Traore, apparently Conte really likes him. Mourinho liked him. So if there must be something this guy does that we can't see, because if that's going to be our kind of marquee signing in January, I think it's going to leave a lot of us deflated and flat. And if we go on and we lose to Arsenal, we lose to Chelsea, get knocked out of the cup, we lose to Leicester, and then we get to the end of the month and Traore is a mark, you'll see all of us how flat we're going to be, And that's when Conte must probably just goes, you know what? It's not for me, this. Man United job's coming up soon, isn't it?
No one wants that, Mark. No one wants that job.
No, of course they don't. Of course they don't. But we've got to do something. We're in an opportunity. And this is why I still don't understand. And this is why I'm still trying to rack my brain. And nobody can tell me why Conte put Doherty on the left. You know, why didn't we just push Ben Davies out to the left? He's left-footed.
Apart from regular and our wing backs are awful, let's be honest.
Yeah, Emerson, do they not practice trying to cross a ball?
Yeah. I heard him in the game, like the commentator said in the second half about Royal making an overlapping run. He can continue that overlapping run back to Barcelona because he's awful. Doherty, we should just ship him back to Wolves free of charge. Here you go. Thanks for that. No, return to sender, address on loan, just get rid of him. We've got awful wing backs. Apparently, Traore is going to come in to be the right wing back, but for me, I don't see him as a defensive player. So I think it's just going to cause more problems at the back. You have him going forward, but is he much of an upgrade on what we already have on the wings? I don't think he is because his end ball isn't all that. So I hope he proves me wrong. And if he proves me wrong, I'm more than happy to come on here and go, I was wrong, but I just don't see it.
But this coming Wednesday, you asked the question to Jacob, do you see us turning over Chelsea? I don't. Unfortunately, unless Romero's back and Dyer's back, which I see Dyer is back now. He's back for Sunday. Romero could be back for Wednesday. And I think he's now going to be forced to play two up front, Alan, because now Sonny's not there. And then he's going to have to flood that. I don't think Ndembele, when he came on in the second half, I don't think he outshone. But I think if he played in a 5, I think he has the skills. But I don't see us winning 3-0. That's the problem. Can we win 2-0? By luck, maybe, and then it goes to penalties again. But, I don't see us turning over unless they have some horrendous injuries this weekend, because they've already got a lot of people out. And then they have a lot of injuries and they have to bring Ross Barkley and these kind of people in. But, I don't see it, unfortunately. I think
the only reason we have a chance in this semi-final still is because of Hugo Lloris. Now, I know obviously he's not everyone's favourite, but he's been a great servant to this club. And I know he has these off moments where a couple of games where he be diabolical and he's had these, off moments at times. But consistent level over the seasons he's been with us, he's done wonders for this club. So, at the moment, our backup is Galini. He's not that type of person. So I agree with what Jacob said. We need to do everything we can to time down to 2 more years so we can reassess the goalkeeper situation and get a massive plan in place for the next, because we need a top quality keeper. Galini's not it. And I think we need to make sure we go to Hugo Lloris. You've done everything you can for us as a club and all that. We'll do everything we can for you for the next 2 seasons. And we want you to sign. None of this stupid letting contracts run down anymore. We've got to make sure we keep our world-class players that we have at this moment in time.
Yeah, last question on this, Jacob. Would you have gone Tagnanga or would you have gone Rodon in the centre of defence?
I'd have gone Rodon because when I looked at the lineup, Davinson Sanchez had a good season, but he's not the guy you want sweeping up and commanding the back 3 or back 5, whatever you want to call it. He's the person that needs to be told. And I think part of the reason why he's played well is because he's had Eric Dyer in his ear, chewing his ear off, and then he's also had the support of a right back. He's kind of had 2-3 players around him if he does make a mistake, which helps him out, because I think Davinson Sanchez under pressure always tends to make a mistake. So I think Rodon, even though he's not as much as a leader, he is capable of playing that position. He does it for Wales, and for Wales he's a leader. I was kind of disappointed because I looked at Tanganga and Sanchez and thought them two on that right side of defence with Emerson Royal, it just feels like there's a mistake. And, Alonso, Kai Havertz, they were having a free-for-all down there. The 3 of them couldn't touch them, and that's where the first goal led from. It was a calamity down the right-hand side, and, Jaffa showed his immaturity. Emerson fell asleep, and then as much as Sanchez tried to clear it, he's gone and put it in the net. So I'd have preferred to see Joe Rodon. It baffles me why we've bought him, because you never really give him too many chances. Mourinho would give him a chance and take him out. Ryan Mason excluded him completely. And even now, if Ben Davies is getting a chance, if Sanchez is getting a chance, I don't understand why Rodon don't. He's the only player that I look at and think I would like to see him play, and he never gets a chance.
Yeah, he's definitely one. But Alan, we're going to go to transfers now. So piece we've just spoke about Jaffa Tagnanga, and I've read today an Italian reporter has said that AC Milan was in touch with us and Tagnanga for a loan deal with an option to buy this season, but Daniel Levy has told them that he wants 25 million for Tagnanga, no loan, just a straight 25 million. Would you loan him out? Would you actually loan Tagnanga out with a buy option, or do you think 25 million is the right price we should be asking?
Well, quite frankly, because obviously saying about 25 million to go, there's pretty much no future for him there. They don't see him as a person to stay and develop the squad. So writing's on the wall there, I reckon, for Jaffa Tagnanga. So I think he's a good player. I think give him time, but then how much more time can we give people? You've seen quality from him in previous games. He's just not been at it so far this season. Yeah, it's just one of them things. I don't think, even people saying about Rodon, I don't think even he's at that level. So for me, he can go. I think we need quality players at the back. So if the right offer comes in 25 plus, I'll take it.
Yeah, and Mark, another player for you that could come in. Instead, obviously, I'm the same as Alan now. We need to stop being soft on players. We need to, if they're not good enough, let them go or upgrade while they're still at the club. Emerson Royal, he's young, new country, different language, but he's just not good enough. Would you go all out for Tariq Lamptey at Brighton instead of Adama Traore?
Yeah, he's looking pretty good, isn't he? I see there's a couple of clubs after him, whether we can snare him away. He's quick, he's mobile, he's I'd like to see us. One of the others I'd like to see is it Basuma?
Yeah, from Brighton.
Villa now are kind of sniffing around now. It always seems to be, kind of players that we could go get, and then they go somewhere else, like sneaking, like the whole Danny Ings thing. Why didn't we go get Danny Ings for like kind of a backup to Harry Kane for a couple of seasons? Those little things. Listen. I think Emerson Royal at the moment, he's crossing. He's just abysmal. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's had 10 games or 12 games in this country. And, I don't want to call time on him yet. I do think we need a different right wing back to compete against him because Doherty needs to go. But I don't want to give up on Emerson Royal at the moment because I think Conte could maybe do his master work on him, and he could be a genius and a magician with him, like what he did with them down in Chelsea. So I don't want to give up on him. But yeah, we certainly need another right wing back to give him competition. Otherwise, we get into that scenario where you only have one right wing back and there's no competition. The same as when Thingy's back with Reguilon, we'll have what's his name, Sessegnon. So let's see. I still think I do worry that our marquee signing at the end of January is going to be Adama Traore, and it's not going to be a striker or a backup striker or somebody like that, or a creative. We're crying out. But then on the same hand, don't we have to get rid of a few players? We've still got the likes of Dele Alli. We've still got the likes of Lo Celso, and Nando Bele and all that. You put all these guys' wages together and weekly it comes to what, £500,000? Yeah. So we've got to start, like you say, we can't be soft anymore. We've got to start getting rid of people as well. But nobody wants to take them on this kind of money, or nobody wants to take them at the valuation that Daniel Levy thinks these people are worth, and they're not worth it. Yeah. I read somewhere the other day, when we bought Dele Alli for 5 million, after his second season, he was worth what, 80 million. Now we'd be lucky to get what, 5 million, 10 million?
No idea. Not a clue.
I think we need to loosen up some money, and we need to be strong, and Conte just needs to cut it. But I think Conte's told people who needs to go. And I think this is where Daniel Levy gets involved, and that's why managers get pissed off and they go.
Yeah, he is the main source of it, but he's another reason, Jacob. Do you see us missing out on Vlahovic from Fiorentina? Because it's getting. I will be furious if we don't sign this player who's interested in actually signing. No, not answering that. Carry on, Jacob, after you.
Yeah, it feels Spursy already. It's not just Vlahovic. We're just going to miss out on. We're just going to miss out, and I already said it when we got Conte on an 18-month deal, because we're not going to tie over transfers. It's going to get to the point where we lose him, because everybody's talking about it's going to be a big summer, but for it to be a big summer under Conte, doesn't he have to sign a new deal? Because what's the point of giving him? Daniel Levy's not going to give him this imaginary war chest of 200 million, knowing that he's got 6 months left of his deal. He's going to have to sign a new deal. Now, the only way he signs that new deal is if he trusts Daniel Levy. And to trust Daniel Levy needs to gain his trust right now in this January window, which I don't see him doing. You look at, Aston Villa. People would say that Tottenham are aiming for bigger things than Aston Villa, but they've gone and got Danny Ings and Coutinho. Do they make a difference in the team that we've got right now? Of course they do. Vlahovic, Arsenal, apparently front runners for him. It's like, but if Conte, if Tottenham made the bid, Vlahovic moves to Tottenham, not because we're a bigger club than Arsenal, but we've got Conte. But Daniel Levy's not using that to his advantage. There's a lot of players out there in Europe that might look at Tottenham and think, okay, we don't win things, but because we've got Conte, I'll move over there. As much as Coutinho had a relationship with Steven Gerrard, do you think he goes to Aston Villa over Tottenham because of that? I don't think so. But because we're just not doing anything, and you can just see Adama Traore. Everyone's going to be talking about Levy time. Levy time needs to be a thing of the past, because what is the point of doing business on the 29th, 30th, and the 31st of January when we could effectively be doing it right now, when we're not even concentrating on the Premier League? It'd be nice if we had a couple of signings wrapped up before the North London derby, give Arsenal something to think about, and then we've got Leicester and Chelsea, but we're going to probably go into those 3 games with key players missing, with no players. I can already see what's going to happen. It's going to get to the point where we're not going to invest properly. We're not going to get the right players in the right positions, like Alan said. It's going to get to the summer. Tottenham fans that are deluded are going to genuinely believe that Conte is going to get given a war chest when he's got 6 months left of his contract. That's not the right maths for me. So effectively, if you're Antonio Conte, is making the same comments that Pochettino was when we thought Pochettino was going to get a war chest. He's making the same comments saying, I'm not the manager, I'm the head coach. He's saying the same thing. And I think he's playing mind games, but I think he already knows I'm not going to get the money. If you're not going to get the money, what's the point of having Paratici there? So in my eyes, when he has got to that point, when it comes to Tottenham, I just don't believe in transfers, full stop.
Yeah. The only thing is, there is the option of a year extra, isn't there, with Conte? That's still that. There's an option for an extra year, isn't there? So that's the only thing that might play in our favour. That a promised mate, and I'm like you, Jacob, I don't see it coming. Always the same with Spurs. We've got this to spend. We can buy this person. It gets to that, and we go to shop at M&S and we buy Aldi or Lidl. It's always the way. Always the way. But maybe that's the only difference, that we have the year extra, year option for Conte. Maybe that's the only difference.
Oh, so is that an option that Spurs as a club can enforce rather than...
I saw him. I think there is just an option to extend for a year. I don't know on what basis, but there is that option. So that might be the only positive from that situation.
What I don't understand is he's talking about that this is going to take years. This process is going to take years, not just 1 or 2 transfer windows. So even if he stays here for 2.5 years, I think his deal runs out. He's got 18 months, so I think it runs out at the end of not this season but next season, and then he can extend for a year. That's how many transfers. That's 1, 2, 3. That's maybe 4. And then he's gone, and that's with his extension. So is he going to do it? Is he going to want to do it? And that's the worry. He's talking that this could take 3-4 years. Is he going to want to commit to that? He looks 90 already.
Yeah, but if we finally act like we act like a big club off the pitch with all these buildings and income, revenue, and everything like that. But if we finally act like a big team on the thing with signings and stuff like that, and you give a world-class manager what he wants, and he can build the team he wants, and you can keep him happy, because we haven't won anything, so we're not going to be putting the pressure on like Chelsea. You have to win this, and all that. If we give him the time and we back him, and he can get the people in that he wants to play the way he wants to, then we can have all the success. There's no reason why he won't sign another extra year or two if he can build towards something and have what he wants to try and make a winning team. If we do what we're probably going to do, by a couple of people that we have to Google or Wi-Fi password signings that nobody knows and all that, and we're not going to be able to compete, we're going to be back where we started. Exactly like similar to before Poch and after Poch as well.
Exactly that, and you look at what he's doing right now. We all know that we've been on good form, but with the players that we've got, they're not going to maintain that for the rest of the season. You need fresh blood. We need some world-class talent in there just to ruffle a few feathers. You look at Harry Winks. Harry Winks is blossomed, but can we put Harry Winks in and trust him to play those games in, week out? No, we need him in rotation, and I don't know, man. I'd have assumed by the time we played Arsenal, we've wrapped up a player that all Spurs fans are happy with, and then we play Arsenal, go into the Leicester Chelsea game, another one comes in, and if you want to bring in your Adama Traore as your third, then all right, it's been a good window. But like Mark said, you can already see it's going to be Adama Traore, and it's going to be some 15-year-old from Germany that goes back on loan to Bayern Munich or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, we've had the comment in from Gio that I mentioned earlier. He's an AC Milan fan, so he wants to know he's read about a Kessie and Ndombele swap in January that he would take for Milan, just so Kessie doesn't go on. Is that a player we should be looking at, especially with him being out of contract in 6 months?
I mean, I've seen bits of him, Kessie. I don't watch Italian league all that much. I've seen bits of him, and he looks a good player. He looks a very good player. I don't know. I've not heard about the Ndombele going in the opposite direction. I've not heard that bit. But with 6 months left in his contract, he's a very good player. I think that we need, like I said, midfield for me is our problem area. That is where we get overrun. We haven't got the players to do it. It's just a point I've made numerous times. So is there anyone else better on the market that would be able to fill that void? Probably not that I know of. Somebody, I think he's 24, 25. He's played Champions League football. He's played at a higher level. So why can't he come in and do a job for there? Would I swap him out for Ndombele? I haven't seen enough to him to say yes or no, so I wouldn't say that. But as a player with only 6 months left to go, who's going to be obviously cheaper because of that short period of time, why not put an offer in for him? But it just doesn't seem like we're going to. There's always links. Like it's him, Kessie, and who's the other one from Juventus?
Enzi.
Whoever it is, and it just doesn't seem. It always seems to be with Spurs. We're interested, and then we go nowhere with it. But if I had the chance to, I would take him because it would be a reduced price, and then that would free up. That would mean more money to employ in a area where you're going to need for the next good several years, like a new striker once Harry Kane leaves, because I still think he wants to go.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, another midfielder. I haven't personally seen any links, but Nipun asked if you would take James Ward-Prowse from Southampton in this side.
Only so to stop Harry Kane taking free kicks. That's the only reason I take him. He doesn't wow me. There must be a reason why he's at, and no disrespect to any Southampton fans, but there must be a reason why he's only playing for Southampton. There must be a reason why Man United, Man City, and
he would have been at Liverpool ages ago, like the rest of them, if he was.
This is true.
Absolutely. So, listen, he's a great free kick taker, and if you could do what they did in American football, where you can bring the person on just to take the free kick and then send him off again, that I'd bring him in. But football's not like that. So, yeah, I worry that he would be like kind of another kind of. And I don't want to say Højbjerg because I like him and I want to put it down like what Kirsty said was that he's just knackered. He's played so much, and I want to give him the benefit of the doubt because I like Højbjerg. But I just think it would be, I've been reading now. We've got the worst end of the deal by bringing Højbjerg in and Carl Walker-Peters going over there. That's what I'm reading, and I'm thinking, nah, because was Carl Walker-Peters, or what's his name? Is it Carl Walker-Peters? Kyle Walker-Peters. Did he
spit out?
Yeah. Did he do anything with us? I can only remember one game, and I think that was at Wembley. I remember going to see it. I think it was Boxing Day, where he had 2 assists.
It was less. Yeah.
And that's the only game that I really saw him kind of perform. Other than that, I didn't. But he's really having a good season at Southampton, and he's doing really well at Southampton. So maybe Hussenhout is getting the best out of him. But no, for me, Ward-Prowse is not who we want. And I'm like Alan. I don't know enough about this Kessie. I haven't seen enough about him. I did see a tweet, though, that's gone out by, is it Fabrizio Romero or Romano? He's turned around and said there's no swap deals happening. They, AC Milan, if we want Kessie or anybody wants Kessie, you have to pay for him outright. They don't want to swap Ndombele.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, Jacob, another act going for us. We've talked about as being a soft club and just keeping players for the sake of it. Ajax seem desperate for Steven Bergwijn. Do you let him go? You cut ties with him?
It's a tricky one because he is capable. I'm trying to think what game it was. Where was he in the league? Was he in the League Cup?
I think it was a League Cup West Ham
against
game.
West Ham. Yeah, he showed he had a good game then. I was happy with that performance. It all depends because it depends I don't know what Tottenham want to do. If you're going to be getting rid of all these players that we class as dead wood, if your ambition is to be replacing them with better players, then I'm all for it. Harry Kane's arguably our most important player, but if you're going to replace him with someone that's on better form, I'll take that as well. But then I don't want to be getting rid of a Bergwijn and then not replacing him, or saying that we're going to be putting someone like Brian Gill in his place because Brian Gill still needs to develop. I think he could do with a loan to a Premier League side. So for me, it's like obviously Daniel Levy's not going to come out and make a statement, nor is Conte, but we need to know the ambition of the club before you decide which players you're going to get rid of and what we're going to do. Because as I say, if you're going to get rid of a Bergwijn and bring in another Bergwijn, or if you're going to get rid of a Davinson Sanchez and bring in another Sanchez, then you might as well keep him. But if it's going to get to the point where we're saying, right, we're going to keep Conte for 3 years, we're going to spend all this money, and we're going to do exactly what Conte said by trying to catch Chelsea because we're not ready to compete with them in a minute, then of course you've got your Bergwijns, you've got Matt Doherty, Royal. There's so many players. As much as I love Ben Davies, Eric Dyer, and Sanchez being on form, those three, if you said to me in 3 years' time Tottenham are going to be competing for the league, I don't think I see them in my squad as much as Conte's been getting goodness out of them. So, we've got to get rid of the deadwood, but there's no point getting rid of deadwood and bringing in more deadwood. Then Daniel Levy just needs to leave Paratici and Conte rather than doing what he's done previously and buying an Ndombele when realistically Poch probably didn't even want him.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, this news of Daniel Levy going out today to the Bahamas to go see his uncle Joe Lewis. Shouldn't this have been used as a bloody family Christmas holiday that he went on rather than go as soon as the window opens? Is that just Daniel Levy down to a T?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, as Spurs fans, do we expect any different? It's just always the same way. I don't understand why this isn't done beforehand, where in November or December you outline a plan of what you're doing, when you're doing it, who you want to get in, realistic targets, who you want out.
My leg's gone to sleep, sorry.
That's all right. It should all be done rather than, the beginning of the transfer window. But also, the quite alarming thing is apparently that there's also been meetings with Daniel Levy for investment from outside, which tells me that the transfer kitty that we were meant to have, I don't think we've got. So that also makes me worried that if we don't, and we don't back Conte when he wants, he's just going to walk. And then another alarming thing is, in looking into it, Hugo Lloris is 35, so you can keep a keeper for until they're older. They tend to still do quite well. But Harry Kane's 28, Son and Moore are 29, Dyer's 27. And then if you go down the list of age, when in your prime years of 26 to 24, like youngsters that are really, if you buy well, you got them a world-class capability. Our people at that age are not good enough. Galini's in there. I think Winks is in there. People that have dropped off like Dele Alli's in there. And then you've got youngsters down at 21, 22. If we don't replace the top quality players we've got now who are kicking on like Kane, Moore, Son, Hugo Lloris, and buy a quality at a reasonable age, like 23, 24, 25, then once they're gone, if we don't, the people we've got underneath that are not good enough to propel Tottenham forward for the next couple of years, we're going to be in massive problems for the next couple of seasons.
Yeah, I mean, Mark, what do you think about this American investment that I think it was Matt Law, the journalist, spoke about today? Do you just see this as another Tottenham ploy to keep fans buzzing and excited, or do you genuinely feel like there could be some outside American money coming into the club?
I think they're looking for somebody, aren't they? They're still looking to name the stadium and all that. I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, the Telstar is a Tesla with Elon Musk. They all going on about Elon Musk doing something, and there's a Tottenham T-shirt with Tesla on and everything. The shirt actually looks quite nice, and the name actually looks quite nice on it. So, if we can get that man, richest man on the planet, to invest some of his money into us, it will be all right. Listen, what worries me is that from what I heard, Joe Lewis bought a boat and 3 paintings worth 300 million or 400 million quid last year. But yet he won't put a penny into Tottenham. Now, how true that is, how true is it that Daniel Levy got on a plane yesterday to go to the Bahamas? Where do these people get that? Where do they get that? It boggles the mind sometimes with some of the stuff that comes through Twitter. And how does Matt Law know that he puts in the dependent that, Now, I thought he was in the Bahamas for Christmas anyway. Because isn't his wife Jo Lewis?
How do you know that, Mark? How do you know these things?
Well, I'm close. I'm close to the club. That's what I'm saying. So I don't think anybody knows, and I think we go back to the old adage that these are the kind of things that would have been spoken about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. They were saying, but. Then the worrying comments are where Conte says, over the Christmas period and New Year period, where he was turning around and saying, yes, we're going to have a meeting with the owners. But maybe that was just for him to lead everybody on. I'm sure he's had the meeting. But do we need investment? Of course we do. But America, Asia, they were talking about, there was an Asian gentleman, one of the richest men from China or from Indonesia, was sitting with Daniel Levy, and they were going around the stadium, and he was there for a game. I think he was there. Was it the Crystal Palace game or one of the games he was there? And he's a multi-billionaire from China. So, I think they're trying to find naming rights or whatever they're trying to do to get some money to pump in.
Knowing Spurs, we're going to be our stadium's going to be by Tesco, in it. Every little helps. That's the type of thing we're going to have to deal with Spurs. Seriously, that's what it's going to end up being. I guarantee it.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Bloody hell,
Jacob. We've said this a million times now since we've got Conte, but this is Daniel Levy's last chance now. He won't be able to show his face in Tottenham again if this manager don't work, will he?
He will, though. That's the thing. It's like we've said it about Mourinho. We said it about Poch. If Daniel Levy don't do this, for me, being honest, he don't care what they him and his little gang. They do this on purpose. They know how to get the Tottenham fan base, the majority of it anyway, excited, and that they get Conte in, and then everybody thinks that Conte is going to come in and get 300 million, but it's like Mourinho was supposed to get this same package and didn't. Pochettino had to work his socks off to get this package. You know what I mean? There's never going to be a manager that's getting a war chest. Like you know what I mean? It's just, it never happens. And it's always about dead wood. But realistically, a lot of the dead wood that we're trying to get rid of, Daniel Levy's probably bought in. You know what I mean? There's people like Doherty and Dembele. They're just players that, it's pretty obvious that managers didn't want them, but they bought them in for big money, and then other managers get made to suffer and say, we're not giving you loads of money because you need to get rid of the players that we bought in. It's just a shambles, really. As much as I love the coach, I love a lot of the players. We're not going to do proper business. It's Tottenham, isn't it? You know what I mean? I don't. When I was looking at the Coutinho thing and it said 6 clubs interested, I knew one of them was going to be Tottenham. As soon as it went down to 2, I remember my cousin ringing me saying, "I bet that's you and Villa." I said, "They ain't Aston Villa. That's Villa and Newcastle." Because they're, as much as they are not supposed to be showing the same amount of ambition as us, they're making us look stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Newcastle, for obvious reasons, because they've got a lot of money and stuff. But Aston Villa are 13th in the league, and to be fair, I'll tip them to finish a lot higher. But then they're bringing in people like Coutinho and paying half his wages. Tottenham can definitely afford to do that, but Daniel Levy chooses not to. And for me, he does little things like he probably goes to the Bahamas and releases that to the papers. So then all the Tottenham fans are stupid enough to believe that he's gone over there for a meeting. The day and age we're in now, do you really need to fly all the way to Bahamas to speak to your uncle about borrowing money? Do you know what I mean? If I want to borrow money off my mum, I don't go to her house to ask her to borrow money. I just ring her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, why are we going on holidays to borrow money? He's going to the Bahamas to go and enjoy himself, and he's probably already there. But 75% of the fan base will be like, "Oh, don't worry, when he comes back, there's going to be 75 million for these players." It's only going to be Adama Traore, and I reckon he's going to try and haggle with Wolves to try and do what we did with Grealish, a Josh Onoma and 3 million. It's going to be something ridiculous like that.
I mean, I don't get overly excited about any transfers until they happen out at Spurs. I mean, I show as much excitement in transfers as I do as Emerson Royal in the attacking third at Spurs. None. That's pretty much it, really.
Oh, you're just nasty, aren't you, Alan? You're just
speaking the truth. Speaking the truth is what it is.
We've been here for an hour and a half, hour 27 minutes. So we may not know the team at all. It could be a complete mix-up. But I still want your Morecambe predictions, because going into this game, from top to bottom, the table, it's looking really, really nice, this table is, to be honest. At the minute, Kirsty's bottom on 6 points. Then it's Jacob on 9, Mark 11, Alan 12, me 16. So you've all got a lot of catching up to do.
Wait, you were bottom. I swear you're fixing this now.
You got 16.
I got 3 correct results on the bounce. There's 3 points with just them 3. Don't hate on me, lads, because you're doing very poor.
He got 3 results correct in a row, and nobody saw this.
Over the festive period when everybody was pissed up.
I'm going to go back on the WhatsApps and see what results you got, pal.
Hey, that's fine by me, Mark. You can check all the WhatsApps you want.
Wait, is that Cal? No? Oh, it's bullshit. That's what it is.
Look at that. Proper Tottenham fans, aren't you? You just can't do it.
I'm starved of success. I have to win something.
Yeah.
Well, this one's mine. This is my tournament to win. So, Alan, give me your prediction for the Morecambe game.
I don't know. I don't know who's going to play. I'll say we're at home, aren't we?
Yeah.
3-0.
Goal scorer?
I don't think it's. I think we're going to say for the Chelsea game, so I don't think it's going to be that. So I'll say. I don't know. Let's throw a wild card in there. Dele Alli.
You know what, Alan? That's funny you say that. You've got the exact same result and goal scorer as me, so you might get points this weekend.
Oh yeah, typical. Yeah.
I told you what, there's no need to copy the leader, is there? But Mark,
I didn't know. I'm not psychic. My name's not clairvoyant.
I know what your bloody name is, but I can't say it. It's a PG show. Mark.
Septic
Wow.
peg.
Hey.
Septic
Wow.
peg, yeah. I'm going to go 5-0.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to throw one out there. I'm going to go Brian Hill.
Oh.
You chose the same as me. That's what I was going to say.
What, 5-0 Brian?
No, I was going to go 6-0. Brian Hill.
I'm hoping Brian starts. I'm hoping he gives him a bit of a run. You know what I mean? I think he deserves it, the young kid.
Wait, we go to such higher score lines. You do realise this is Tottenham and this is our dead wood. Most of our dead wood's going to be playing.
Yeah,
You
Kane's
really
not playing, so we should score goals.
This is true. This is true.
Sonny and Kane aren't there, so we could get a few.
I'm just trying to look for Kirst. She's gone 2-0 and she thinks Harry Kane's going to start and get the first goal. So
Okay.
Wow.
that's
Bold.
Kirsten. So just so everybody hears, so you know what I've predicted without lying and moaning and cheating.
Oh, so you admit you lie. You admit you lie. Okay, thanks.
This is blasphemy. I will not have this on this show, Alan.
So mate, it's already out there. It's already out there.
I've gone 3-0 Dele. Alan's copied and gone 3-0 Dele.
I said mine before you said yours.
So can I just say, when the team news comes out, if your player is not in the starting 11, can we change it? Can we change the scorer? Yeah.
As long as before the start of the game. Yeah,
before the start of the game. But if an hour before Brian Hill is on the bench,
you can change Mark. Yeah. You can change yours. Jacob can change his. I can change mine. Kirst may change hers.
Alan can't.
That's where it stops then. There's
what the fuck is this? What?
Oh God, yeah. Kirst has gone 2-0 Kane. Jacob 6-0 Brian Hill. Mark 5-0 Brian Hill. So I do hope that some of you make it a bit more competitive for me.
Are we doing the Wednesday one as well?
Oh, every game, Mark. Every single game. So we'll do the Wednesday one on WhatsApp.
Okay.
Just give you a bit more time to think about it and.
Yeah, and everyone make sure they read Ryan's prediction because I'm pretty sure he hasn't put many predictions in there, just so everyone knows.
I'm screenshotting them from now on.
Yep, same here.
Jesus, that's a lot, isn't it?
In this little group we've got here, I'm the Man City of this group. I'm the runaway leader. So you lot are just falling behind. You just guess. You're not even putting the correct thinking behind it, are you? You're not thinking straight while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I'm the Tottenham of this group because I was top at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have bottled it royally.
Now I'm full.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But thank you very much. I'm going to cut it deep before Alan can say any more hurtful things. So thank you all very much. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the First 11 channel. We are here every Friday at 10 o'clock. Follow me at Ryan Madden 1991. Twitter, follow Kirst at THFC Kirst. I believe, yeah. I don't think there's any numbers. Alan, would you like to let everyone know where they can find the prostitutes of YouTube?
Wow, how dare you? I don't put myself about, but you can find me here every Friday night. There's my handle there, Alan R. Clark 3. You can find me on the Gals Prediction Show every Thursday. We're doing the second half of the season. I won the first half, just so you know. So you can find me there every Thursday. And after most Spurs games on the terrace as well, giving my predictions, my review of the Spurs games, which are more often than not that great. And then you can also find me on the Come On You Spurs podcast once a month, talk everything Spurs when it comes around to my turn.
Mark, your turn. Where can everyone find you and what channels will you be appearing on soon?
So I'll be on Racing Live, the One Show, and
just them, yeah.
The American Football Channel, because now they want to talk to me as well.
Oh, is that
I didn't say Tottenham Hotspurs. I did, not Spurs, the basketball ones. No, just catch me Gillings M on Twitter, where I'm doing nothing else.
Yeah, Jacob, where can everyone find you, mate?
Yeah, you can just find me here on Friday nights with you guys again, back with the gang. Normally I'm patrolling on Twitter as well, and I've just got myself onto rotation with the Come On You Spurs with watch Alan mentioned before. So once a month on a Monday at 8:30, watch out for me to post when I'm on there as well.
Very good. And I forgot to say, I always forget to mention this. Coys.com podcast comes out every Tuesday. I'm on every Monday with Patrick and Dan and different guests. I'm sure hopefully that Michael Bridge, the Sky Sports reporter, will be on one Monday. So make sure you listen out for that. I'm hoping this month so we can discuss transfers and bring everything he says. I'll just record what he says and bring it on here for a Friday. So, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for our first show of 2022. Let's hope for a good year for Tottenham, and I'll see you all next Friday.